Alrighty, good evening, everybody. So I hope that you can all hear really well. So I'm Renee from the Temple, which most of you know, and I've met you many, many times before. You're our family. And I've got the beautiful Mandy sitting here with us as well. And tonight we're talking about gut health and detoxification and the importance of complete wellness and well-being to live your very best life. I'm just letting a few more people in that are in the waiting room. So please be a little bit patient. We're almost there.
Hello, everyone.
Okie-dokie. Just a couple more minutes. We'll let the rest of you in, and then I'll just keep an eye on anybody else trying to get in. I hope you've had an awesome day, everybody. Sadly, I cannot see you all. Just a little bit of housekeeping while we're starting is that this will be recorded because we'd like to pop it up so that Mandy can use it for her clientele over in Spain, and that we can also use it for the people that weren't able to attend tonight. So we will be recording, but don't worry, you can sit there in your pajamas and a glass of wine for now until you start your detox, because we can't see you. It's just recording Mandy and I, and it will be available later on if you want to watch it again and get some more tips or share it with some friends. We'll have it on our YouTube channel as well, okay? So tonight what we'll be doing is interviewing Mandy all about detox, gut health, wellness, and then we'll be talking about how you could possibly incorporate the detoxification program into your lifestyle and the benefits of doing that at home. And now I think is a really great time to actually be starting, synchronicity with starting this program, because we've all been in lockdown. We've probably all been overindulging in too many, sugars and wines and things like that that we really shouldn't be. And I know that I certainly can feel it myself. I know my uniform at the moment feels like it's spray painted on me rather than fitting nicely. So I'm more than ready to start my detox. And I'm sure many of you are feeling the same, because I'm getting a lot of people coming through our Facebook page talking to me about their skin's just going crazy. It's really sensitive. They're breaking out. Their body's feeling tired and lethargic. And that's because it's true. We are what we eat. So Mandy's going to put, very, very much clarity on all of that for us tonight. I'm just going to see if there's any more people coming through, and then we shall start. Okie dokie. So I would love this to be interactive. Now you will notice that you are muted. However, you can easily pop your hand up or down the bottom of your screen, or there's a little box that says chat. For some people that are using the latest version of Zoom, it will be at the top of your screen. If you just want to type a question, you can pop it into the chat box, because Mandy and I would love it if it's interactive. The reason why we do make it so that you are all muted and also not recorded is just because, with 30 odd people attending the webinar, it does get a little bit distracting for Mandy and I if we're seeing faces and bodies and everything moving everywhere. So it's just to make sure that, we can focus on giving you the best delivery that we possibly can. And then at the end of our session tonight, we'll open it up for questions and answers, and Mandy can, answer anything that you have about the program. Is that good, Mandy? You ready to start?
I think it's a wonderful idea. Let's get going.
Okie dokie. I have to put my Specsavers on because I can't read your bio without them. Getting older now, you see. Okie dokie, ladies and gentlemen. So this is introducing Mandy Keller. So Mandy Keller is a pioneer in holistic health, and she's our expert in wellness. Now, when we go to Spain once a year, some of you would know that we take a beautiful bunch of women every year to Spain, normally in September, on Temple retreats, which is linked to Temple Skincare and Spa. And during that 5-star experiential retreat, we always go and visit Mandy and her team and Natalia, who own a beautiful clinic, a wellness center in the middle of Barcelona, and it's called Studio Australia Barcelona. And you will notice from Mandy's accent in a minute when I stop gabbing and let her talk that she is Australian, and so she does come from here, but her and Natalia have set up a beautiful wellness clinic over there, and she's the co-founder of Studio Australia Barcelona. She's also the author of The Detox Journey, and she's the creator of Face Pilates, which I'm super excited to learn about in another webinar another day, if that's okay. Mandy in 2005 left a successful career in building and interior design in Australia, and then moved to Barcelona to follow a lifelong dream of living in Europe. I don't know about you, but I've always wanted to do that too. So kudos to Mandy for being so brave to give it all up. She didn't just migrate though, she transformed her career and established a unique Pilates holistic medical center and a health and wellness company 4 months after arriving in Barcelona with her partner Natalia Lane. Their centre is now recognised as an oasis for caring for body, mind and spirit, where you can find all of the encompassing menu to complementary health practices of rehabilitation, wellness, natural beauty, inner health, diet, and nutrition. So she has a wealth of knowledge to share with us tonight, and I'm sure you're going to find it super exciting and really interesting to hear everything that she has to say. So I would like to start by asking Mandy some questions, if that's okay with you, Mandy.
That'd be wonderful. And I have to say, it's I'm really disappointed that we're not going to get to be together this September, but there will be the future. So we'll do it. We'll have to do it virtually in the meantime.
Yeah, absolutely. And the women that came with us, the last couple of years will more than rave about coming to your clinic. So we'll be back there in a hurry, that's for sure. Okie dokie. So Mandy, what brought you into the world of detox? How did you go from construction and interior design into detox?
Right. So first of all, I want to thank everybody for allowing me to come and speak to you tonight. I really appreciate it. And I hope everyone's well and their families are well at the moment too. In my 20s, I actually suffered from an eating disorder. And I was really challenged by that. And so one of the ways that I actually started to deal with that was to become a competitive bodybuilder, which then took me in. So it took me through from having a really bad relationship with food. Then I went into an extreme relationship with food. But what it actually helped me to do was understand how my body worked. And one of the things that I did during that time of becoming a competitive bodybuilder was I learned metabolic typing. So I learned how my metabolism worked. I learned what foods worked for me to actually maintain a healthy weight, for me to be, I suppose, in control, because it's about control for me, about how I have that relationship with food. And then when we moved to Spain and we started the Health and Wellness Centre, Natalia actually started to have a really bad allergy problem. And I think, in all honesty, I think it was the change of country, the change of eating habits, the stress of moving to another country, and then we, as you said, we started the company 4 months after we got here. And so for about 18 months, she was incredibly sick all the time. And finally, we found out that she was having a lot of allergic reactions to different foods. And so what I did was actually create a detox for her to actually completely remove all of these toxins out of her body and reset her body. And so then I started working with my clients that way as well. And so it all started to meld into one thing, where people were saying to me, well, I need help, not just physically to actually be well. I need some help with my diet and nutrition as well. So then I wrote the first guide to detox, because I wanted to give them something to actually help them to do that. And of course, for people who know Spain, telling them that they can't eat bread or jamon every day, and at that time when we first came here, so this is our 15th year here, people really thought detox was for people who actually had alcohol problems or other problems. They didn't think of detox as a way to maintain a healthy body. And so it's been a journey of I suppose, experience and knowledge and working with people over the years, but that's what brought us into it. And so then my book, my guides evolved, and then I finally published the Detox Journey 4 years ago.
Wow. And I love that book. So I read that, when was that? Maybe November? Yeah. And that's a great book. That's excellent. And the proof is in the pudding. Like you said, detox is, always was a little bit linked to, tobacco, even, workaholics detox, alcoholism and things like that. But it's not, is it? It's everybody.
Yeah, well, the way that I kind of see it, I mean, there is always the extremes, and that's some of the things that you and I've talked about before, is like what there's the whole thing about fasting but I think what for me is really important is to empower people about how they can use food in their life, their relationship with food, how they can heal their bodies with food, and then how to understand what that means on a practical level day to day. What does that mean to integrate that into your lifestyle? Because you can do a diet and you can do a detox, but then you go back to the same old habits again. And that's why we we do the detox, the Global Community Detox, twice a year, because spring and autumn, because it's the perfect time from the point of view of how your body and your metabolism is working to actually reset. But it just brings us back into line again, because we're habitual beings. You know, we can't help ourselves. You know, we you come off, everyone who's going through the detox, they do it for 2 weeks and they think, oh no, I'll do it for another week and then I'll do it. But as soon as they break it, then it's like, oh, you know, the glass of wine every night comes back in, and then the, you know, like, and I'll just have that toast, you know, or that bread, or I'll just, you know, and things just kind of sneak on back in again, because I mean, that's life, you know. And I don't think that, I think we should enjoy our lives as well, but to be healthy and to live a longer life and to try and avoid having diseases, then we need to reset and need to give our organs a rest and our body a go.
And so that's why you think what we eat is super important. That's what really matters. Is it to reset our bodies, or what would you say the key reason of watching what we eat is?
Well, the thing is, food, I mean, before, I suppose, the 20th century, we didn't have all of the processed foods and all of the things that really have started to affect. And I mean, we just have to look at the obesity levels in the world to know that we've really not got a good relationship with food these days in our society. And we're all busy, so you know, we will grab something easily to just, and I mean, there's a whole generation of people who really have forgotten how to cook very well. And also, you know, it's the way our food is processed has changed, from the point of view of that it's, I mean, one thing I love about being in Spain is that we still eat seasonally. So, you know, we don't have all the foods all the time. You know, we still go through each season of each food, and our bodies are used to that. That's really, if we, you know, look back to how we were as before the 20th century, we that's how we've always eaten. So I think we've lost a lot of that. And for me, teaching people how to use food like that again, and it is essential. And that's the gift. I think it's a gift to yourself. And so, you know, I can give you an example. For, you know, I've got a friend, a client who's also now a friend, but he's now in his early 40s, but he came to me. He's always wanted to do the detox, but said, oh, look, I'm really busy. I'm a businessman. I have lunches. I don't want to give up my glass of wine. You know, it's just too much, Mandy. Like, one day I'll think about it. And then he came to me when he was 39 and said, look, I've just been to the doctors. They've told me that my cholesterol level is completely off the chart, and that I need to go on medication for the rest of my life.
Oh, wow.
And he said to me, do you think I can do something about it? And I said to him, sure, why don't we do the detox? I said, but you need to do it like I tell you you're going to do it, not like, you know, a little bit here and a little bit there. I said, we need to strip everything back and we need to start again. And I want you to go and have a blood test before you start, so that we've got something to actually gauge it by what's happening. And he said, do you really think this is going to work? And I said, well, let's try it, but I believe so. And so he went on to the detox. We stripped everything back, which means, like, it sounds really harsh. And I suppose if you haven't done it before, it can be challenging, because your body rebels, like, and we're going to talk about gut health, but if you can imagine, you know, your all of the biome in your gut, it's used to having the sugar, it's used to having the alcohol, it's used to having the carbs, which it turns into sugar. And so when you take them out, it has a rebellion. You know, you feel like crap, basically. You know, you feel like you've got the flu. You feel tired and lethargic. You have really bad mood swings. Because those microbiome is going a bit crazy, and so it takes first it normally takes 4 days, and that's what we do.
For me, it only took 2. I only felt average for 2 days maximum, and I was fine after that.
Which is amazing, because you're obviously quite clean and eat well to start with. But for people, well, it means that you've also reacted quite quickly. Yeah. But for some people, it takes time. And you know, and I have people contact me and say when we're doing it, they're just saying, look, I'm sick, I can't really do this. And I just say to them, just hang in there, you're going to be fine. And so when I'm going back to Andy, when I said to him, let's do this, and then so he was really strict, and he's a guy that would be eating 70% meat and 30% vegetables, and so he, you know, he had to completely flip. His wife's Argentinian, so they eat, you know, they like a lot of meat, and so he went through it. And then after he did it for 3 weeks, and then he went back to the doctors, and he came to me and he said to me, "What do you think?" And I said, "It's back into normal range." And he said to me, "You think you're so smart, don't you? Like, you think that you." And it was.
Wow.
He just didn't believe really how he had changed his life in such a short amount of time, and brought what was really something that could have been quite life-threatening for him for the rest of his life back into a state where he could manage it just through diet.
Yeah, wow.
You know, I think, and now he is a regular detoxer, and he knows that he resets. So when he knows that he's been overindulging and he gets those habits out of whack, he just takes himself back, even if it's for 3 days or 5 days or whatever amount of time that he feels that he can fit it into his schedule. Because one of the biggest problems also is that we're really busy, and we, you know, we have to be in a right mindset to detox. Otherwise, you just don't do it. And that's why try and set it. So yeah, that's kind of, you know, for me, why food's so important, because it can heal us.
Yes.
You know,
And I think the thing that sorry, Mandy, to interrupt you. The thing that I love about your program is that it wasn't, you know, I didn't have to buy shakes and pills. I mean, I bought the parasite pills and things like that to help clean out parasites, but it wasn't false. It wasn't having chemicals to detox or anything like that. And it wasn't just having watermelon, you know, for a week, or lemon water for a week or anything like that. And you're talking about the food, like I still will eat food out of your menu, you know, twice a week, because I love it. Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Well,
you're talking about the resetting, and that's exactly what I find that I do every now and then. If I lose my way, which I've known this detox is coming, and I'm joining next week anyway. So if I lose my way, I do get your program back out, and I do reset for a week and put myself on that 3-day introduction, and it just gives you that kickstart to get everything functioning and feeling better and sleeping better and everything. So what do you tell everyone what you mean by resetting?
well, the idea is to actually remove everything that's processed, and everything everything that help. Your body has to work hard when it's actually processing food. So if we talk about meat, dairy, wheat and gluten, sugar, processed food, caffeine, processed salts, alcohol, cigarettes, or your organs have to, especially your liver, your kidneys, your gallbladder, you know, that has to be processed somehow, which takes, I suppose, what you could think of is it takes the eye off of the ball from the point of view of the body of actually naturally healing itself all the time. So it puts it into overdrive, and so enabling the body to actually rest and then reset itself by taking all of those things out and starting again. And interestingly, it takes a couple of weeks. You know, you think it's you can do it for a couple of days, but really it takes a couple of weeks. And that's why also for me, you can do something, you can do like a juice fast, or you can actually, you know, have 3 days of juicing or whatever, but then you go back to your habits again. And the whole idea is to actually create a menu of a habit that you can actually sustain in your life all the time, and not feel like you're being deprived of anything, because, you know, life is for living. So for me, the whole idea of resetting, and we start the detox with raw food. So for the first 3 days, it's raw food only. And that is, we do that because then that's even another step that the organs don't have to process. So if you've got raw food, your body just actually churns through it, and it actually kick-starts that whole detoxification process, so that the body can actually, the organs can start to clean, start to expel the toxins. And then from there, we start to see the differences. And that's why normally on that 4th day, when people come back onto cooked food again, they really feel the difference. And then all of a sudden they're sleeping better, their energy levels will start to come up, they start to see that their eyes are glowing again, that their skin's starting to look better. And then from there, the process continues. So, you know, it's
wow. When I first heard, before I did my detox, when I first heard that it was raw food, I was thinking of like sashimi and I was eating raw meat and all this. I was thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? But it's beautiful food. Like it's just stuff that you would normally eat anyway, like salads for lunches and, you know, your spiraled zucchini pasta with beautiful olives and fresh tomatoes and herbs. And it's clean, real recipes that you give us. And I find it really delicious. And it was actually not an effort at all for those first 3 days.
really interesting because, I mean, when people start to think about raw food, they start thinking about eating carrots and celery and apples and what have you.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole raw food movement, and for people who don't know, basically raw food is that you don't cook your food above 47 degrees. So, you know, you can still have a warm soup, but it's not, you haven't destroyed the nutrients that are in the food itself. So one of the things that, so, you know, one of my recipes is a miso soup, but it has it's just warm, and it's just and we just put the vegetables in, and they're still raw, but they're just al dente. And having that food, learning about that food and the raw food movement, which is amazing. I mean, the raw food movement in the last 10 years has completely shifted. And if anyone wants to go online and have a look at what's out there, from the point of view of the recipes, and making your own raw cheese from nuts and all of these sorts of things.
Wow.
Which are, yeah, and it's really amazing. It's an amazing movement, and I've worked with some amazing raw food chefs here actually, who taught me a huge amount about these sorts of things. So it's another way. It's another way of people expanding themselves as well, expanding what they think food is. You know, because many people like to, not everyone wants to be a vegan, not everyone wants to be raw food only, but having those elements in your life is really a fun thing to do. And especially if you have a family, because the kids love it. The kids kind of, you know, people, and that's one of the things about the recipes and how I designed the program, is that it has to be integratable into the family. Okay, you might be stricter, but if you've got a family and you're trying to make things for yourself and then things for the family, it's really hard work, and it puts people off. So having recipes that people can enjoy and the whole family can enjoy was really important for me as well.
Yeah, we definitely all shared it. And I think the favorite recipe was that zucchini spiral pasta that the kids loved. So, yeah, definitely. So, can I just ask you, why do you choose food for detoxing, and what are your thoughts on the whole fasting thing that's going around right now?
Yeah, well, the fasting thing, I mean, it's really interesting for me because I still do fast every now and then, but I which people, if people don't understand that. So basically you have your lunch and you have your dinner, but you stop eating at about 6 or 7 at night, and then you don't eat again until 1 o'clock the next day. So you can still have you can have water, and we can actually have things like watermelon juice. But basically you're just allowing your body, and the principle behind it is that by restricting the calories, the body has to work harder, and it actually burns up those calories and actually enables again the body to rest in its own way to actually heal. The problem I've got with it is that if you, and I have friends and clients who are very strict about it, it changes your whole metabolism. So if you actually then want to go out and have dinner, you know, at 8 o'clock at night or whatever, you really feel like crap. You know, you like, it completely changes the way your metabolism works. And I personally don't think that that's necessarily easy for people to do with our lifestyles.
Social, being social.
Exactly. And I think, so for me, I don't think it's the right thing for me because, you know, my partner loves to eat food at night. And so I think that you need to think of your own lifestyle and how that works. And I think people want to do it, but I don't know necessarily whether it works for that. So during this detox actually that we're about to start, we're going to do an intermittent fasting day to see how people feel about it, because it's one of the things that keeps coming up in each of our detoxes that we do. We're also going to do a 24-hour juice cleanse as well. So, for example, using watermelon. Watermelon is a great detox for the kidneys. So, if you do you can do a kidney cleanse by just drinking watermelon juice or eating watermelon from the time you wake up till 2 o'clock every day.
Wow.
You know, if you do that for 3 days, you'll give your kidneys a really good cleanse. So, you know, it's also giving people those tools where they actually think, okay, I need to do that. And you know, from being involved with us as well, that we also do a liver and gallbladder cleanse, which is why we did the parasite cleanse as well. But for me, that's another level. I think people who have never detoxed before, it should be an incremental thing where you say, okay, let's try this and let's see how it works for my body. And if it works, then the next time let's do the parasite cleanse, because you can't, why we do the parasite cleanses is because you can't clean well the gallbladder and the liver if it has parasites in it. And most of us have in our body, is part of who we are. One of the things that the interesting statistics that I know is that, you know, we since we've now been able to have the knowledge about our genes and mapping our genes in the last decade or so, we now know that our body is basically, we have 25,000 genes. Or cells, sorry, not genes, cells. But we actually have 100,000 microbiome in our bodies. So we're 90% microbiome. Yeah. So, you know, keeping them happy and keeping our organs happy by looking after them this way stops the process of the body breaking down and those microbiome going into the bloodstream and into our body and causing disease. And that's the principle of actually using food to actually reset, to nourish the body, to allow it to rest, and then for it to heal itself. And we've proved it so many times that it can happen. And it's not something that the mainstream medical, I mean, I still find it shocking that we work with cancer patients who they are going through treatment with chemotherapy or radiation or hormone treatment, when no one talks to them about their diet, you know. And it just flabbergasts me that that doesn't happen, because really your diet is essential for your body to be able to heal again. And
100%.
and still putting processed foods or I mean, cancer loves sugar. You know, it's one of those things that we know, and then it also cancer can't live in an alkaline body either.
That's right.
So by eating vegetables and nuts and seeds and fruit, our body has to shift back into an alkaline state. So it immediately puts us back into a state where those diseases won't thrive. And so that's also part of the process as well.
So we do have with the microbiome, we have the good bacteria cultivates and the bad bacteria. And the aim of the detox program is to minimize the bad microbiome and increase the good, which is, you know, decreasing sugar and red meats and increasing the good. And in that way, our bodies are essentially able to heal, would you say? So any even things like arthritis or any sorts of ailments, would you say this helps with?
Absolutely, definitely, yeah. and we can adapt them. We can adapt the detox as well, depending. And sometimes when I'm working with people privately, we do the metabolic typing as well and work out what foods their body's reacting with, and how their bodies need, what foods their bodies need. So for example, my body, I'm a high metabolism, so my body goes really fast, but I shouldn't eat things like, I crave things like tomatoes, for example. So, but for me, having a plate of tomatoes, which I can quite happily do and enjoy it takes my body, it takes my metabolism up, and then I crash, So it's like finding the right ratios of how your food works. So for me, I eat 70% protein and fats and 30% carbohydrates, and as part of my ratio of my food. And then I eat, and then I also restrict a lot of foods that I actually know to make me go like this, so keeping that metabolism quite balanced also then stops you from having mood swings, stops you from feeling, and I mean, things like depression and all of these ailments. I mean, I work with people who have got fibromyalgia and all different sorts of ailments that they come to us. The doctors say, well, we don't know what's wrong with you. We can't help you anymore. Like, they've had all the tests. But taking them back to basics of like, what are they eating? How are they sustaining themselves? How are they meditating, or are they actually in their bodies? How are they moving with their bodies? I mean, exercise is also an essential part of a detox, and the only thing that's proven to help us to stop dementia and Alzheimer's is actually exercise, because it actually detoxes. And it's the only proven scientific study that's been done that can actually say that we can help to stop these things from progressing. And what it is it's the fact that when we're exercising, we're pushing the blood through our brain, and it's like cleaning the plaque out, basically. So regular exercise, and it doesn't have to be crazy. You just have to get your metabolism going. You need to actually get the body working, and it's proof that it works. So for us, it's and then sleep. They're the three things. So it's the diet, it's the exercise, and then it's sleeping enough. And if you can do that, then you have a good chance of longevity. And that's really what we aim to do, is to help people to live long, healthy lives, so that they can actually and feel empowered about how they do that. And it takes work. It doesn't just come to us. That we don't necessarily just know these things. And going back to what I was just saying before, we're not educated in it. The doctors aren't educated to even help their patients with it, because they've learnt their discipline, and and thank goodness for them. I'm certainly not anti-doctors, believe me. I feel that we have to go hand in hand, but they've sort of missed out that part has to go hand in hand with what they're doing for it to work together, for people to be.
Absolutely. I think it's too easy for us sometimes to, go to the doctors and get a pill to feel relief of symptoms, when actually, if we look at our bodies are such amazing mechanisms. If we look at just how can we be as clean and as, efficient and run the best our body is designed to be, I think that's a far better option than going and covering up a symptom with a pill. So I don't know, I get excited over the thought that, I'm living my best life because I'm running clean, my organs are healthy, and I'm giving myself the best chance of longevity.
Yeah, and then also then on top of that, we've got the issue of antibiotics. So antibiotics, they're the best thing to kill all of that biome. And I it's not just that you go and you get antibiotics from the doctors. A lot of our food have antibiotics in them now, because it animals grow faster when they've got antibiotics in their food. So for me, I don't eat very much meat at all, but if I eat meat, I eat ethically grown meat. So I know where it's come from. I know how it's been fed. I know how it's been killed. And for me, I think, especially with what's going on in the world right now, it's a really good opportunity for us to reset on a global sense as well. You know, we can feel the world breathing at the moment, and I think it's an opportunity for us all. I mean, Australia, from the point of view of food production, it's not bad, you know, but there's still a lot of antibiotics that are actually used in food production.
Yeah, absolutely. So just getting a little bit off track for 1 second, because I think other people would be interested to hear this as well. But you did touch on the point that when you're working one-on-one with your clients, you work out what their specific bodies function best at, like the breakdown of, you know, meat versus vegetables versus fat. Is that something that you can offer on the side, consultation for anyone that's interested?
Absolutely, yeah, we do it. We do the metabolic typing test, and then what we do is I get you to do a food diary. So I have a 30-minute consultation with you, which is one-on-one complimentary, and we talk about what it is that you want to do, and then I can say to you, look, this is what we can do for you, and if you're interested, that's great. And then I can put a proposal together based on that, saying, okay, well, we can do a metabolic typing test. We can actually, which, to be really honest with you, isn't the most scientific thing in the world, but it's because it's been around for such a long time now. It has, and for me, it's worked very well for a long time. But it has a significant ability to help people change about how they're using the ratios of their food and what it looks like on a plate, and also how they actually see how foods are affecting their body, which is the other reason that we do the detox as well. Because when we're coming off of the detox, I get people to just put foods back in a little bit, whether they put caffeine back in or whether they put gluten and wheat back in, just to see how their body reacts. And for some people, they say, oh, I'm just going to decide I'm not going to do that anymore because it made me feel terrible the next day. Or I woke up in the middle of the night thinking, wow, what's going on here? And they realized that they'd eaten something they hadn't eaten for a couple of weeks. So we look at that, and then we also look at your food habits. So normally I get people to do a food diary, for 4 days. So, but honestly, not just,
The Tim Tams are written down.
Everything, how many, when, and so then I can actually see also immediately the ratios of the types of foods that you're eating and what your habits are, and then what you want to change. So what do you want to do? And then basically I give you the guidance and support, and also the accountability. I think accountability is really important because we all want to do it. And I think that's the beautiful thing about the detox is that you can cheat, but you're just cheating yourself. Yeah. So having someone say, so tell us, and like, people fall off the wagon. That's the way life goes sometimes. But, you got to get back on that horse again and keep going, and so having someone to be accountable for all the time, and then also working out how your routine. I mean, I'm a person that Monday to Friday, I have a regular sort of routine that I have as far as eating, diet, what I eat. I'm quite strict about sticking to my metabolic type. And also my exercise program and things like that. Then from Friday until Sunday, Friday night till Sunday night, I let myself do whatever I really like. And I mean, you get into a habit anyway where you think, oh, I really don't need that, so I don't do it anymore anyway. But then every now and then you want a bag of chips, so you think, okay, well, I'm going to do that while I'm watching my movie on a Sunday or a Saturday. So I think getting into that habit, and after a while your body gets used to it and you get used to it, because it's a mental shift as well. And that's what I help people to do, is to actually find their rhythm of how they can live longer and healthier without it being an encumbrance on their life.
Because I think we are all individual the way our bodies work, and it would be very interesting, I think, to know, what actually, there's all those other things like eat for your blood type and that type of thing, but it would be really interesting to know actually what sort of foods my particular body should be eating more and less of. So yeah, very good. It's great. I think it goes well hand in hand with the detox program. So let's talk a little bit now about gut health. So how do you think your gut affects your skin, your moods, and your longevity, Mandy?
Well, I think it comes back to what I was saying earlier on, is that, this is a whole microbiome unto itself. You know, it's actually, it's its own universe really inside of your body. And if it's out of balance, then it's going to be creating toxins. It's going, and those toxins, I mean, I'm sure people have heard in the last certainly 5 to 10 years that your gut is your second brain, you know, and your gut and your brain are really connected. You know, what's going on there is going to affect. So if you know yourself, if you have, if you're out of sorts, you're foggy, you can't think properly, you're like, because your gut, that microbiome there is actually having an effect on what's going through your bloodstream, and then what's going through into your brain. So keeping that balanced is essential for us to be able to sleep well, for us to be able to think well, and to be able to just live a productive life and be healthy. So I think it's, for me, it's an essential part. And the way to do that, as we've been talking about, is to eat the right foods, and especially things like fermented foods as well. So and kimchi and sauerkraut, and one of the things, because I every day I have a cabbage juice and celery smoothie, which, you know, I know for me keeps my gut in balance. So learning how to find those foods that actually microbiome actually thrive on, and fermented foods are one of those things, and it's one of the things that we actually talk about as part of the detox as well. And I think once upon a time we preserved foods a lot, you know, so we actually naturally got those microorganisms as part of our everyday food intake, because we didn't have fridges, or we didn't have, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
whereas now we don't have that so much anymore. So we, you know, yogurt, good yogurt, not processed yogurt, you know, having those fermented foods back into your gut will actually help also to balance that. And then the other thing is to actually also, if you don't feel that you're getting that balance right, is to have a very good probiotic, you know, and a good probiotic should always be kept in the fridge, because it's a live culture. So if anyone's selling you a probiotic that's off the shelf, then it's not alive anymore. So, you know, you need to go to a reputable pharmacy or nutritionist, or a natural healthcare shop, and here we would go to a natural pharmacy, and then you can actually buy a really good probiotic and take a course of that. And, you know, even with probiotics, you don't keep taking the same probiotic every time you go back. You change it, because otherwise your body gets used to it, and it doesn't change. It doesn't introduce the diversity into the gut itself as well. And I mean, it's interesting now, you know, people are talking about fecal transplants, and you know, this is one of the new things that they were actually talking about recently. And I've had one of my clients do it actually. And so this is a new thing. The thing about it at the moment is that because it's so new, there's a lot of controversy around it, and it actually isn't regulated very well. So I think you need to be a bit careful about that. Okay. People wanting to think about it, but this is sort of like with people who are having especially immune deficiency issues and what have you. This is one of the things now that we're actually talking about as another alternative to reset your biodiversity within your gut and your colon.
Wow.
You know,
and sorry to interrupt, is there any point in taking probiotics if you're still having a bad diet? So if you're eating a lot of sugar and things that are feeding the bad bacteria, is there any point in taking probiotics, or should they really have to go hand in hand with clean eating?
Well, I don't think it's going to hurt, put it that way. And the thing is, you're probably just wasting your money, because you're not actually giving that bacteria a chance to actually thrive. And so I mean, one of the other things that we do is colon hydrotherapy, and that's what I sometimes offer people to do, is to actually do a colon hydrotherapy treatment and then start, because that basically strips everything out, and then it enables the gut to be able to then start again. So, and the colon to actually reflorinate in that space. So, you know, that's another way of doing it. So there's different tools we can use to actually help to reset that. And from the point of view of skincare, you know, we have a lot of people who have eczema and have problems like that. And by putting them on the detox and then getting them to do a colon hydrotherapy and then putting them on some probiotics, it completely resets what's going on, because our skin is our largest organ. Okay. And so it's 10% of our body. We lose 10% of the toxins from our body when we're detoxing through the skin.
Yeah.
So the skin is really important. And if your gut isn't right, then it's going to come out through your skin. And, you know, recently I had a young woman her mother is one of our clients, and she said, look, my daughter's having lots of problems at boarding school and she's not coping very well, and because her skin's breaking out. And so when she was here on school holiday, she's in London, we had a little meeting together, and I said to her, you know, what's your diet like? What are you eating? You know, and of course she's eating boarding school food, and mum's not there to actually make sure that she's, you know, doing what she probably should do. And so we talked about, you know, and from your point of view, you would really appreciate this, sending her to a very good cosmetician who actually specializes in caring for the skin, but who is also holistic from the point of view of using natural skincare and also working it with the diet as well. And so it was amazing to see this transformation in this young 15-year-old woman who went from like really suffering, and then empowering her to understand what she put in her mouth was also having a huge effect on what was happening on her face and in her skin. And then also combining that with someone who was an expert in skincare to actually teach her how to care for her skin well as well. So I think, you know, and when we do the detox, one of the things we talk about is the skin. And I mean, the lymphatic system is one of the systems within our body that actually helps to detoxify the body on a daily basis. And so we want to stimulate that while we're actually detoxing as well. So what we do is we recommend that people dry brush every day. So you get a nice soft bristle brush, and you start at the legs. So start at your feet and you brush up your legs towards your heart. You're always brushing towards the heart because you're stimulating the lymphatic system, and you're stimulating the lymph fluids to actually flow through and actually start to detoxify. And then brush down from the top, from your arms down to your heart again. Exactly. So doing that every day, and then you know, really starts to also help to the skin to be able to release the toxins. And one of the benefits of that is also if you have cellulite or anything like that on your body, it helps to break that up, and your skin becomes smoother. You really see the tone change, and you actually get, so that's an added benefit apart from the detox. You actually then also see the skin starts to revive, and actually you break up the fat that's sitting in those places. So, you know, for me, you can't detox if you don't think of the skin as something else that's also part of the body. You know, it's a big organ. It's our largest
huge
organ.
Relationship.
Yeah, you need to care for that as well. So, you know, for us, it's really important that we educate people with that.
Absolutely. We get asked quite a lot in the spa. You know, clients are coming in with a lot of different inflammatory skin responses, from acne to psoriasis, eczema, dermatitis, all of those things that you've mentioned, rosacea and things like that. And most in our consultations, most of the time it comes from the gut. So there is 100% a direct correlation between what happens in the gut and what happens, you know, in the skin. So, you know, that's great. That's just an extra perk of detoxing, I suppose. So tell me about what ideal skincare looks like like when you're on the detox?
Well, I think, well, as I just mentioned, brushing. We also recommend people to have baths or hammams or saunas, because this also helps the body to actually get rid of the toxins, and also exercise, so sweating.
Yeah.
Just getting out there and sweating, because and then just making sure that I mean, the body brushing is amazing because it takes that layer off every day, and it actually stimulates the skin. So it actually and the lymphatic system, as I said. So for me, they're sort of the three key things that we do,
Yeah.
to actually make.
One thing you guys taught me when I did my detox with you, and at first I was completely freaked out by the idea, and then I surrendered to it and gave it a go. It's actually completely fine. Was I can't remember what you call it. It's where you instead of just cleaning your teeth, we're detoxing our mouth and everything. So this program it goes into the complete body detoxing. Just quickly talk about what that is that you suggest we do.
Yeah, so oil pulling comes from, it's Ayurvedic, and it comes from India, but a long time ago. It's an ancient form of caring for your oral hygiene. So when they didn't have toothbrushes or anything like that, they would use sticks to actually to get rid of the bits and pieces. But to actually cleanse the mouth and detox the mouth, they would use oil. So basically putting, it depends, you have to gauge your size of your mouth, because it's once you've got to keep it in there. So I like to use coconut oil because I think it's much nicer taste, and because coconut oil is a solid before you put it in, it's much easier as well. So I use just like maybe a heaped teaspoon, just a little bit more, or a flat dessert spoon of coconut oil. You put it in your mouth, and then you just start to swish it. So you need to not be able to talk to anyone for 10 or 15 or 20 minutes, depending on how long you can do it for, and recommended between 10 and 20 minutes. So you need to have that time where no one's going to be asking you any questions, or the kids aren't going to be driving you crazy. And I normally do it when I get up first thing in the morning in the shower, because then I'm just going through my day and no one's there bothering me and what have you. So you just swish it around, and you swish it through all of your, and it's actually quite a workout for the face as well, which is
It is.
it's another added benefit. And then you need to make sure that you spit it out into a bin or into something that's not going to go down the drain, because it'll also clog your drain up. But then the idea, and it's amazing. First of all, it's from the point of view of a detox. It actually, the oil kills the bacteria in your mouth, the bad bacteria in your mouth that actually can cause bad breath, can cause all the different issues that go along with oral hygiene. But it also helps your gut. And so because the gut starts there, basically. It starts whatever you put in your mouth, and it goes all the way down, and then it goes all the way out. So that's just one big track there. So the oil pulling is something that we introduced as well, because I was a coach for a company here, a health company, and my specialty was looking after oral, the face and skincare and what have you, and hair as well, which is another topic. But using different natural ways to actually care for our bodies that way. And so that's how we reintroduced it back in again. But it's become, it's a lost thing, really. And I think bringing it back is important for people to understand.
Yeah.
It
sounded terrible, but I actually really enjoyed it, and it is a great workout for the face. And Alicia's asking, have you locked your dog out? Can you hear the dog in the background?
Actually, I sent my dogs away, because I thought, okay, I'm going to have them here. So they've gone, but it's the dogs in the street that are actually
It's lunchtime in Spain, so they're hungry maybe.
Principal level, which is the first floor here. I'm quite close to the street, so that's probably waking. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I was just saying that when I first started doing the oil pulling for the mouth, it was a real workout for my cheeks, but I really enjoyed it. And after you've done it a few times, you can really feel your mouth feels so clean, and your gums feel really great. And I've got them out at the moment because I'm talking. I don't want to be lisping, but I'm normally wearing Invisaligns at the moment. And I found that me doing the oil pulling before I got fitted with my first set of Invisaligns, a client of mine suggested that I try it before I got fitted as well. And I found that it just made it all so much more comfortable. So it's definitely something I would encourage everyone to do on their detox.
And it whitens your teeth as well.
Yeah, yeah. So talking about the detox program, Mandy, talk to us about what sort of results you've seen over the years with all the clients that you've worked with.
Well, I mean, the thing that I love most about it is that people are so surprised what happens. You know, like they come into it a little bit like, oh, I don't know, I've done stuff before, or I've never done it before and I don't know how I'm going to cope with it and what have you. But just seeing people, and it depends, you know, some people want to lose, you know, 5 kilos, or some people, you know, they want to actually stop drinking, or they want to stop smoking, or they, you know, they're just tired all the time. Or so watching people go first of all through what we call the healing crisis, which is those first 4 days where everyone sort of loses the plot a little bit, especially people who are drinking coffee, because they really suffer with that. Once we actually get through that, and then I start to see people completely change, you know. And like sometimes recently, you know, people are just like, no, we want to do a month, we don't want to just do 2 weeks anymore. I planned actually to do a month this time, but I think with what's happening in the world, it's just too strong right now. And for everyone who wants to join us, I'm excited to bring our community together, for people around the world who are all going through different stages of being in lockdown and having to actually deal with what that means for us right now. So, but I think for me, the results that are most rewarding is that people want to come back. You know, they do it once, and then they see the benefits, they see what it means to reset. They know that it takes discipline to do that, and not everyone has that all the time. So getting them to come back and do it again, and you know, shed a few kilos, and see themselves looking amazing and empowered to actually know what food works for them in their day-to-day life is, for me,
and sleeping better. I found I sleep better. I had more energy. I was more motivated because I didn't have I suppose I'm presuming it's because my body wasn't working hard to get rid of all the garbage. It was just basically working like a well-oiled machine. Is that right?
And your energy levels, I think the energy levels are really beautiful. And I think after that third or fourth day, where all of a sudden you look at yourself in the mirror and you think, oh my God, look at me. Like I'm glowing. There's something going on here. You know, all of a sudden your eyes are sparkling, your skin looks clear. You've kind of lost that layer of puffiness because, you know, all of the toxins are leaving. And I
Can't
think
wait to lose that.
me
Had to chisel my jawbone, my cheekbones to do this.
I agree. No, I was saying to you before we started the talk that normally I start a week or two before, so I'm ahead of everybody. And I've been convinced by one of my team not to do that this time, to actually come into it. And it's been a pretty stressful time here in Spain for the past 7 weeks. So I've been drinking my way through that.
We all have.
So I'm just like, okay, Mandy, it's time to get on that horse. And I think having you all with me, it's going to be amazing, because I'm just like, all right, we're doing this together. We can do this, you know.
And we are all in it together. So we're all doing the same bad habits at the moment. And you know, if you're feeling like I am, enough is enough, you know. So it's nice to have the community behind the Global Detox. You know, you joined the Facebook page and you're part of a global community from people all over the world, and everyone's feeling the same thing. We're all experiencing the same thing. And then we've got you guys behind us, encouraging us every step of the way, and mentoring us on through exactly what to do every single day. It's such an awesome program. So
thank you, darling. I really appreciate that. No, I think for me too, having that community this time is really important. I feel like that I need that, and for me to be able to share that knowledge and support everybody, and for us all to come out the other side feeling that we've got that energy, because I think right now we all need that extra energy for whatever is coming next, you know, like we all have to somehow face a new world, and like, what does that mean? And I think having a clear head and having the energy to do that is really important right now.
Absolutely. And stress and anxiety of, you know, being at home and in lockdown and just being in a different routine, day-to-day routine, more and more people are feeling stressed. They're feeling anxious. They're suffering from depression and things like that. So I think it's really great to just come back to, okay, let's nurture our body in a very holistic way and give ourselves as much love as what we possibly can, like you said, to get through this. So that's great.
Yeah. One thing I'd like to just tell people is that we use Facebook as a platform, but it's a completely closed group. So I mean, I'm not a Facebook user, but as a business person, I've used this because it's easy for people to actually join and for us to be able to keep it private. So if people anyone that's on the program or and our members, everything is contained within that space. Your information isn't going out anywhere else. It's only private. So because it's one of the things that people are anxious about also with social media right now, is like they don't want to be sharing things around the world, and that's not what happens. It's a very private group and everyone only works and you know, within that. So
Excellent. Belinda has asked a question. Do we have to do the oil in our mouth every day? So my answer would be I was doing it once every morning, but I don't know what the technical answer is.
Yeah, no, well, the more you do it, the better. From the point of you do it every day. If you can get into the habit of doing it every day, that's great. But if you do it if you do it 3 or 4 times a week, it's great as well. I mean, I suppose it's like exercising. If you exercise every day, and for me, it's like face Pilates, or you know, you know, you can't overdo it. Put it that way. You know, your jaw might get really sore, but it's not going to do any harm to you. But during the detox, I try to encourage everyone to do it every day, because they really feel the benefits of it and they see the benefits of it. But from the point of view of you need to judge your own
needs.
Life. Yeah, exactly.
Excellent.
But say a maximum of, you know, once a day, minimum 3 or 4 times a week.
Perfect. So with the things that are involved in the detox program, talk to me how people can incorporate and implement these sorts of habits in their lives.
Okay, well, I think that, as I spoke to you about before, what I'd like people to do is to actually find out what makes their body work. You know, so what foods make what is their ideal routine for them to actually, and I mean, one of the things that people struggle with is like, what do they want? You know, like that's the first question, is like, do you want to maintain your ideal weight? Do you know what your ideal weight is that makes you feel happy? You know, and that's different for everybody. You know, how does your lifestyle allow you to implement these new habits into your life? So without stressing you out, because we don't want to do that as well, because that causes more problems. We want it to be sustainable. So I think for me, and one of the things I get people to do on the journal, on the detox, is to start a journal, you know, at the beginning, because we forget what it means from the start to the finish. And so having a journal where you actually say, okay, this is where I am. I get people to take their measurements, and measurements more than weight, because weight for me, you know, if you have an issue around weight and then you weigh yourself every day and it's not changing because you're actually doing more exercise, so you're building more muscle, and so you're not losing weight, that can actually really you know, play with your mind. Whereas if you actually say, okay, I'm going to measure myself, so I'm going to measure so basically I get people to measure their biceps, their thighs, their hips, their waist, okay, and their bust or chest. And then we keep a record of those. And then that for me is to actually and then also take before photos, which is another good thing to do, which sometimes it's hard, but taking a before photo and then keeping a journal about how you're feeling as you're going through, because it also gives you a record for the next detox about how you felt and what happened. And you can actually then start a little journey with yourself about how you're implementing these habits into your life and what made you feel different when you came off the detox, when you brought different things back into your lifestyle. So for me, it's building that knowledge about yourself and working out what it is that you need to do to sustain a healthy lifestyle. And that is different for all of us. You know, for me, I know that for this detox, you know, I'm going to measure myself today. I'm going to take my before photos. I'm going to actually write my goals, what I want to do. I haven't even been, I mean, I'm normally a person who exercises 4 or 5 days a week, and I have just been sitting at my computer building our business online and exercising once a week for the past 5 or 6 weeks. And now I'm going to have to teach you all as well. So I'm going to have to, I said to Natalia, I'm probably going to be so sore.
Yeah, we will be.
But I'm really excited because I'm just like, okay, I can do this. And because I'm doing it for you guys as well, I'm just like, okay, I can do this. So
and you'll feel what we're feeling because we're all doing the same things. That's great.
So I think for me, like crucially, what we want people to take away and what we want people to do is actually learn about themselves, learn about what it is that they want, what they want out of their lives to be happy. Because that whole thing of not liking who you are, not liking your body, not being happy in your body, that takes a lot of energy. You know, that's something that if you can find those answers, that you can live really happily with yourself on a day-to-day basis and know how to reset that if you need to. That for me is the gift I give.
Yeah.
That for me, if I can help people to feel like that, well, then that's the most important.
And I think that's one of the things that we struggle with being women. So let's just talk, I'm mindful that people will be getting tired now. So let's just talk about quickly what's involved in the program, and then we'll open it up to some question and answers about how they can actually, what it costs and how they can actually sign up and where they would go to get the link. We'll probably put the link on our Facebook page and I can also email it to them tomorrow so that they can sign up for the program. But what is actually involved? So they follow the link, they sign up for the program, and then what?
Once you get you sign up, you'll get you can go on to and request to come onto the Facebook page, and then I'll admit you as a member. On that page, there's a preparation kit, which has the first 3-day raw food menu. It has a shopping list. It has the foods you can't eat. It has a series of 10 different documents. There's in my detox guide, you also get a copy of my detox guide, my ebook, and on the which has got 30 different recipes in it that are all part of the detox plan. But I also have 12 extra additional recipes that I've created that are also in a different PDF that's on the Facebook page. And then from today, I've just put up a how we need to prepare. So we need to start to think about stopping drinking caffeine, easing yourself off of that, because you don't want to have a really bad headache on Monday or Tuesday. So if we can actually just start easing the caffeine off. Also measuring yourself and getting a journal, and also bringing everyone on board with you. So if your family is not going to do it, so that you don't feel alone, or if you are isolated at home by yourself, which is one of the things that I'm interested in right now, is also bringing people on who could do with some support. Finding a friend who'll do it with you as well, so that, but you've got us, so you're going to have a whole group of new friends. And then I'm going to start putting up, I've got other exercises that people can do, and then I'm going to do live exercises. And then on Sunday we start with the first day raw food, so that you need to go out and do your shopping and get your probiotics. And then we'll start, and then every day I have a program of different things. So we have guest speakers. On Monday we're going to have Aileen, who spoke for your guests when you came, who's our holistic physiotherapist, and she's going to teach people how to, with movement, to actually exercise and cleanse their liver. And then on Tuesday, or on Friday next week, we've got a herbalist who's going to actually teach us how to make some tinctures and some different herbal treatments to actually help us with our detoxification. So we've got different people coming in and speaking to us as well, so which is a bit more interesting than just having me chat all the time. So just changed it up a little bit. Then we'll do a 24-hour juice cleanse, and I'll teach you about juicing and what that means. And you'll have different recipes, 5 different recipes about what juices and what juices to have during what part of the day to keep your energy up. And we'll do a 24-hour, we'll do an intermittent fasting day as well. And then we go into a maintenance week where we just really eat well and think about how we're feeling and what we're doing, and just to get those habits in. And then we need to wean you off, and then it's thinking about coming off the detox and how that feels and what it needs to, how you're going to implement this back into your life again. So it's a journey, you know, it's a journey of climbing up there and then maintaining that and learning about yourself.
But you guys hold our hands really well. From when I did it, you guys hold our hands really well. And every day, you know, we can check in with you on Facebook. One thing I will say to the Australian people is that I always, last year when I did it, I started the day after Mandy and everyone did in Spain, because they'll post their thing, because we're 8 hours time difference. And so they'll post their shopping list and then I'll go and get it. But by the time they post what they're doing for the day, it was always the day after. So that's just a little thing. So even though Mandy starts her program on the 26th, maybe let's be prepared for the 26th, but you might want to actually have your official first day the 27th.
Yeah, I took that into consideration this time as well. So I've got most things that we are up there now, and I'm actually already starting to post today to actually try and mitigate some of that. But if we can, sorry, my dogs have just arrived home. So, if that's, I mean, I'm always there, so you can always kind of say, hey, I didn't quite get that, or it wasn't quite the right time for me. Can you tell me this? But I've tried to actually this time make sure that we've actually got a lot of those things ready and waiting for you.
Beautiful. So I will open it up, everybody. If you want to use the chat box to ask any questions, feel free, because if it's something that you're thinking, chances are someone else is thinking the same thing. I do have some question that's been emailed to me today, so I'm going to go through that now while you guys think of anything else. Pop it in the chat box and then we'll wind it up so that you can get your beauty sleep, and we will send you out the links. I will email you the links tomorrow, and we'll also pop it on our Facebook page as well. If you are interested in signing up, if you're not, then I'm sure that you've learnt amazing things anyway, which is always good for our brains. But I have to talk from personal experience, is that the detox program, like I said, I still use the recipes these days because they are good recipes. It's clean eating, it's real food, it's not potions and pills and things like that. So it is definitely something. Got to put my Specsavers back on so I can read Tasha's questions.
You say we're going to continue to roll this out. So next month we're going to do a women's health detox, so starting on the 17th. So if people aren't ready now and they wanted to come on next month, that they're welcome.
Oh, great.
So we're going to do that from the 17th, and then the month after we're going to do a menopause detox for
great.
So if people aren't ready, I totally understand, and there's an opportunity. And just because it's we're part of the family, for normally the detox is 50 euros, but for including my book, but for your friends and community, it will be 30. So
wow,
they get it as a discount as a friend of the detox.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. That's really kind of you. That's awesome. So this is what Tash has asked. Is it safe? This is a great question, actually. Is it safe for anyone to do? And are there any health conditions that would exclude somebody from being able to do this safely?
I wouldn't recommend anyone who's pregnant or breastfeeding to do it. I don't think people are doing that. And if you have, it would depend on the health condition, but if you had any doubts, I would suggest that you speak to your doctor, and then you could speak to us about it as well, because we have a lot of experience with different diseases and different issues that people have. And we also have two nutritionists who actually have studied nutritional medicine. So we're a team of people of professionals who actually can also advise you if you have any doubts.
Great. And so she's also mentioned that she's interested in doing this. She doesn't really understand what detoxes are, but I'm sure we've clarified that today. But she's interested in doing it because it's not supplements, it's using real food, which is awesome. And wanted to know, are the recipes easy? And so I can tell you, Tash, 100%, I'm not a master chef or anything of that means, because I don't have the time. And the recipes are super easy. It's very, actually, the thing I loved about it was it's kind of, got the Spanish influence, even though Mandy is Australian, it's got the Spanish influence. So for example, one of the recipes for dinner would be, in Spain, if you've ever been, they have like little serves of everything, like little tapas types of meals for their, and whereas in Australia, we have one huge plate of food piled high, and that's our meal. But, you know, over there, so one of the things was the miso soup with the spinach leaves put in it, and then the chopped up mushrooms put in it. So simple, boil the jug, put it on the stove, however you want to do it. It's done within 5 minutes. And then on the side, you've got like your half an avocado with chopped up tomato, and I think there was a bit of red onion, a little bit of olive oil over the top, and that's another little thing that you would have on the side with that. And then you have your cabbage side, red cabbage chopped up with, I think it was vinaigrette through it or something, but really easy, really yummy, really fast. You're not going to be in the kitchen for an hour prepping your food. It's not like that at all. It's really, really easy. So hopefully that helps, Tash. And then one of the other things that she wanted to know was, how long does a detox go for, and are there any side effects?
It goes for 14 days, and I have never had anyone with any side effects.
Perfect. Excellent. Alrighty, has anybody else got any questions? I'm more than happy to answer. Mandy's more than happy to answer anything in the chat box at the moment. Otherwise, if nobody has any questions, then we will email you out the link. We would love to join you and see you in the group. Would love to join you and see you in the group for the detox when you're ready. If not, then Mandy's always available. You can reach out to her at the Studio Australia Barcelona. You'll see we're tagging her in our social feeds and things like that. So you'll be able to contact Mandy and her team and Natalia. Even if you wanted to, you know, maybe book a consultation, see how your body works with the metabolic footprint. So I'm not sure what you called it now, Mandy. I'm sorry. The metabolic thing. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, you're welcome to do that as well. All I can say is that it's something that I'm looking forward to doing. Hopefully I see you there. And if you have any more questions, then we're all here for you. So thank you for joining us, ladies. It's been a beautiful hour and a bit. I'm sorry to take up all your time, but it's been
thank you
very informative.
for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're amazing, Mandy. Thank you so much. We love coming to see you every year. So we're just going to have to see each other this way for now. So
not at all. It's been amazing. Thank you.
Okay. Ciao. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much.